Are you excited for last episode of Game of Thrones on
I think it's
Sunday?
going to be the all-time worst episode ever made. It's been getting Game of Thrones. Oh, this is a whole can of worms, Hila. You really want to go there? We can talk about this. Let's talk about Game of Thrones.
We
now.
gotta.
All right. Well, as you may or may not know, I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. I've read all the books, and I've been on board with the stories. This last season, I mean, everybody's been complaining about for good cause, because, I mean, the plot has just been so rushed. It's just been so ridiculously rushed over. You know, HBO originally wanted 10 seasons, but the creators, the two Davids, were, I guess, over it and wanted to go work on Star Wars. They have this new opportunity. And so they just wanted to lock it up real fast. And the end of the book was just so rushed, dude. I mean, the end of the story, like...
Is that true?
Yeah. HBO wanted more. HBO didn't end it. It's the two creators. And I'm pretty sure that they've had now... I don't think they've parted ways with George or Martin amicably. I think George is pissed about how they did the show.
Do you hate the part at the end where they explain the episode?
I like it.
I hate it.
Well, I usually like it. Why do you hate it, Hila?
Because I don't need you to now tell me why you think your writing was so great.
Right, that's true.
It's always like, oh, we knew the fans wanted this, but obviously you can't give them what they want because it's going to be so...
They're like, John is supposed to be the hero, and we all knew that. So we wanted to subvert expectations and have him just meandering around the castle, yelling at a dragon. That's literally, they said that about John. It's like, and then George R.R. Martin, contrast that. He pitched, talking about the TV show, he goes, yeah, you want to subvert people's expectations, but when you have a whole novel set up in a certain way and all the clues and all the story is leading one way, if you just go ahead and change it at the end, then the story becomes a mess.
And you're leaving all these dead ends.
There's so many dead ends in that show that they caused, like the whole thing about Dorne, the Dornish prince that the mountain killed and all this, total dead end, didn't go anywhere. Bronn has ended up like such a weird, stupid
His
character.
doesn't make any sense now.
I mean, everything's a dead end, honestly.
Every time they're like, for 3 years now, we knew that Arya was gonna be this, but we wanted to do it this way. I don't know. It's like, yeah, you guys wrote it. I don't need to hear why you guys are.
Well, George told them how the story ended, and so they basically just fast forward. They skipped ahead. Is what this season was.
Yeah.
But there's some really dumb ones. In fact, you're talking about how they...
Well, Danny kind of forgot.
This was such a great clip by Clan Gaffney. So this is perfectly what you're talking about. Here's these guys talking about their genius writing.
It just takes me out of the show. I don't need you explaining to me what I just watched.
You know what I like is on YouTube, they have how shit was made. So like the most recent episode, which was cinematically
that was awesome.
And graphically phenomenal. It was beautiful. It was an achievement in filmmaking. And on YouTube, there's a 30-minute like mini documentary about how they did all of it, like the special effects and the coordinating and everything. And that was fascinating.
Yes.
Did they show in that? I haven't actually seen that, but I was reading that they built like 17 city block set.
Yes.
Yes. That is fucking nuts.
They show all of that. It's super
They
awesome.
built it all, and then underneath it, they also had charred ruins.
Wow.
So they built first what it was going to look like when it's ruined, and then they continued it to be full.
That's sick. I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's great. I loved every minute of it.
It's such a bummer because I mean, pretty much every component of the show is top tier.
Yeah.
Other than the writing, it's just like the acting,
Well, the writing,
the visual effects, all of it really is unparalleled for a TV show. Anyways,
The thing is, once they kind of strayed away from the source material, it just got more and more like that. If you look back at the pacing of the first season, it was so true to the book, and it was so fantastic. There was this incredible pacing and narrative development and character development, and then like progressively as the show went on, that all just
Also,
completely turned into drama.
It kept being so unexpected. And things like the Red Wedding
or what happened to Ned.
Yeah.
Which is like huge. I mean, they built that up perfectly.
I still can't get over that moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a Darth Vader moment. It's just so powerful. And And so I think they really botched the biggest moments in the books, which is kind of what happened in the last episode, that they kind of like what should have taken place over the entire course of like a whole season should have like shown what happened, but really they gave it like one episode. You know? Well, at any rate, what you're talking about, how them like just masturbating about their own writing. So listen to this. You're going to love this.
Well, Dany kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet and Euron's forces. They certainly haven't forgotten about her.
Idiot.
And the Golden Company has arrived in King's Landing, courtesy of the Greyjoy fleet. The balance has grown distressingly even.
While Dany kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet and Euron's forces.
Kind of quiet, but I think it's fine
We
for you
need to
guys.
find Euron Greyjoy's fleet and sink it.
Your Grace, he's already destroyed a good portion of our fleet.
While Dany kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet and Euron's forces.
I don't know that part.
Has us Dawn, the Iron Islands, and the Reach.
While Dany kind of forgot about
The part where they explain it just kind of makes me feel brain dead. It's like I just watched it. I can.
How dumb do you think I am?
Think about it for myself for a minute. I don't need someone now chewing my thoughts for me. I don't know why it upsets me.
I'm actually with you, Eli. I never watch them. I find it really breaking.
Yeah. I like the inside look, but those are on YouTube separately.
Yeah, those are awesome.
the Iron Fleet and Euron's forces.
Euron's ships could be anywhere, or in more than one place. He'd be flying around the open seas alone for who knows how long.
This is the dumbest shit ever. Like, they go to King's Landing, and then somehow these dragons in the air don't see the Iron Fleet and just get 360 no scope. It's just painfully dumb.
Alone. I would have Drogon, Viserion, and Rhaegal. What can anyone
She
do to her?
forgot. Even the writer himself said she forgot about the Iron Fleet. Like, what? And then, yeah. Never saw it coming. That's the end. Yeah, it's a shame. It's such a shame that the writing was such ass.
Dany kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet and Euron's force.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know, the latest episode, I was so conflicted because on one hand, I was so depressed about the culmination of all these characters that I loved and have followed and am so invested in, and watching them all perish, and just that. So that alone made me sad and depressed, really. That this show I've been watching since when we lived in Israel.
Yeah.
Before we even made a YouTube channel, I think, or around the time.
They didn't even have it in Israel then, and you had to like watch it at 4 a.m.
We were watching it on like a box, like a really like SD old school box.
Yeah. And you couldn't wait, so you would actually watch it at 4 a.m. and then watch it again with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that was the first season I remember. I was so captivated by it. Here's a compilation of the cast being disappointed with the last season.
Have you shot your final scenes
so
yet?
good.
And are you happy with how things ended? Yes. She didn't say yes. You didn't say yes.
Best season ever!
Oh my God. So brutal.
Without telling us anything, because I know you can, are you all happy with the way with the outcome of the show? Personally, or just
the phrase, it's a little bit Avengers Assemble, and it's a little
Dude,
bit
by the way, Bran,
totally what
okay,
season 7
we
was.
spent the whole story building up Bran as this magical, from the very first episode, he's pushed out the window and has these visions. And it's culminated in him doing nothing.
All of those plot lines, everything supernatural in the show just completely went nowhere and just get ignored. I was thinking about this the other day. In all of the seasons since Jon Snow got resurrected, like, it's barely ever addressed that this dude came back from the dead. Like, nobody cares.
Also, the Hound was
like,
brought
so
back from the dead.
casual about
Like
it.
the Lord of Light, it was like he was so particular about who he brought back from the dead. But now let's think. He brought back the Hound. The Hound did absolutely nothing.
No,
to
not
keep
the Hound. You're thinking of...
No, the Hound was brought back to life. The Hound was brought back to life.
I don't think so.
Yes, he was. That crew happened upon him. That dude who was brought back to life like 8 times, his dude brought the Hound back to life. That's why he joined their clique.
Maybe?
That was that one season.
I'm blanking on that.
I
so
don't
maybe
Yes,
you're right.
remember.
I'm 99% on that.
But
and then
John got brought back, and the other guy, and yeah.
And then that one douche that was brought back to life like 8 times, his whole purpose was to save Arya.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
So that she 360 no scoped the ice douche. I mean, the ice douche was like the biggest dud ever, by the way.
Yeah, that went nowhere. Lord of Light went nowhere. Bran went nowhere. It's good stuff. Satisfying conclusion.
Yeah.
It's all about,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Exactly.
This is
Character
great.
development. Lob it all
Story.
They're all trashing the show, man. It's crazy.
I really need to shut up.
You're
don't I?
brave.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
But no, that's what it
Joe's
felt
not
like.
going to be in Star Wars.
No, but this,
I couldn't let you go without asking you a little question about Game of Thrones.
Sure. This is the
If you
best
could describe
ever.
the season finale of Game of Thrones in one word, how would you describe it?
Disappointing.
Disappointing.
No, epic. I don't know.
Epic.
One of those ones.
One of those. Dude, so good.
Nobody thought of that.
I'm telling you, this last episode, this Sunday, is going to be the most irredeemable pile of shit that any of us have witnessed. I have a premonition that a lot of people have been super angry about these last 2 eps. I think this one is going to take the cake. There's no way they're going to save it.
And they put the women and children
Oh,
in
this
a
is
crypt
great.
It really
with
is
all
such a
the
shame.
dead. Nobody.
Because the making of it is so good. The
These-
last episode. Yeah, if you haven't watched the making of the last episode, you really should.
These 2 guys, man, they're just fucking everyone's shit up by being in such a hurry to get out of there. You know, all the work and all the love and HBO and all the actors and George
not
and everything, the fans, they just want to
Is
bone
it
out.
really up to those 2
HBO
guys?
wanted 10 seasons. And I don't think they could make it with other people. Contractually, George gave them the license to make it and nobody else.
Yeah, that might.
That was like his big thing, is that he wouldn't work. He only wanted to work with people he approved.
Thought of that.
There was this one scene in the Long Night where they're like, all the women and children in the crypt where all the dead people are, and everybody watching is like, yeah, and he can raise the dead. And Tyrion Lannister in the past 2 seasons has become the dumbest, most useless character. Like when they're using the source material, Tyrion Lannister, best, most interesting, insightful character. Last 2 or 3 seasons, useless, moronic, always wrong, doesn't predict obvious shit, luscious.
Bringing all the dead people back to life, and they put the women and children in a crypt with all the dead people. So, rah. Tyrion is smart, but I guess not that smart.
He is that smart. He's meant to be that smart.
Yeah.
But I hate to tell you that unfortunately Barristan is gone.
Were you gutted about that on a personal level?
I was gutted.
Sir
I was
Barristan was
gutted
such a
because,
great character
I mean,
that
a number of you, I'm sure, have read
died
the
for no
books,
fucking
and,
reason.
I've read the books, and I had reason to expect, I've got a journey here. In fact, if I'm honest, I thought, I'm really looking forward to this season. I'm going to have more to do. I'm going to get my teeth into something I'm really looking forward to.
Did you have
because I did the
words?
books.
Did you say anything to them?
I did ask and give an argument why I thought Barristan should stay. But at the end of the day, I mean, Dan and David, they'd worked out what they wanted to do.
You know, if you've planned your book that the butler did it, and then you read on the internet, someone has figured out that the butler did it, and you suddenly change in midstream and it was the chambermaid who did it, then you screw up the whole book, because you get this foreshadowing early on, and you've got these little clues you planted, now they're dead ends, and you have to introduce other clues, and you're retconning. It's a mess.
We hope to kind of avoid the expected, and Jon Snow has always been the hero, the one who's been the savior, but it just didn't seem right to us for this moment.
How do you feel about the way that it ends?
Asshole.
There are no better writers in television than Dan Weiss and David Benioff.
Such a cold.
They ended it brilliantly, better than I could have imagined, and you people are in for it. You people are in
Pretty
for
funny. Dan, what did you think? You have a strong opinion about it.
Yeah, I mean, not a fan. I mean, I too have read the books. I've read them twice actually.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, and like once early into the show, and then I reread them like about 2 years ago. And yeah, I mean, I think what it really boils down to is these guys. They are. I don't want to say that they're bad writers just flatly, because obviously they gave many seasons of a great show. I just don't think. I think they're good at adapting from a source material, and as soon as it diverged from the books. A lot of the changes they made several seasons ago of like cutting big storylines, like Dorne is completely different in the books, and
There was other Targaryens they cut.
yeah, there's the other Targaryens, and that was like the whole plot that Varys is a part of. So that kind of makes Varys' character completely useless, and there's a lot of theories that whole plot line is going to be what ultimately Cersei was in the show. So that's why Cersei just really stood around, not doing anything for the last 2 seasons, and. Yeah, I mean, they
was so dumb too at the end. Like, how much did Cersei go through? How much character development was there? Like, she blew up the Sept, she got disgraced, she got her hair cut off, and all this shit. And what did it amount to? Nothing. It went nowhere. She just ended up standing there in the frickin' window.
Sipping
She
wine.
betrayed the armies for pretty much no reason at all.
Somebody pointed out, I saw that that the actress that plays Cersei is actually one of the highest paid on the show. And this season is like quite a deal for her because she got paid so much money for, I don't know, a grand total of maybe like 10 lines of dialogue.
That's
and
right.
just standing on a balcony for a long time.
I think she got like a million per ep.
Yeah, something like that.
She was
Yeah.
literally just
Standing
gazing.
there. Yep. That's a good deal for
The gaze
her.
of miracles.
That's right. She was Brazzo in it to all of King's
Yeah,
Landing.
it's disappointing, man. It makes me sad. That makes me sad. The loss of the show and characters that I love makes me sad. The last episode was so heavy. I mean, like 80% of all the characters died.
Yeah, and so much. I mean, a lot of people take issue with Danny losing it and killing everybody, but I mean, at least on paper, I actually like that that's where the story went, but it was so unsubstantiated. So
It's just all happening so
undeserved,
fast.
right? Exactly.
Microwaved.
Yep.
Yeah.
They just microwaved it.
Yep. Like you said, I mean, these guys, not to excuse them, but yeah, they've got this deal to make a trilogy of Star Wars movies. So you can understand from their perspective. I mean, how many things are a step up from Game of Thrones? Not many, but that's one that, that is an extremely prestigious
It's
thing.
just fucked up
But
that
Game
they...
of Thrones is part of history now.
Yeah, well, they should have just passed it off to somebody else.
They're
Let
gonna
somebody
go
else wrap up the show.
Well,
if you're so over it.
George wouldn't give consent for that.
I guess.
But
maybe
they're gonna
that's
go
what
make
they're
some
down to.
shitty Star Wars trilogies, and everyone's gonna remember as the guys that fucked Game of Thrones and went and made some shitty Star Wars trilogy. But they're probably gonna make a ton of money. So what do they care?
Especially when you look back, I don't know if you've looked at their IMDb, but prior to
Nothing,
Game of
right?
Thrones, not just nothing, like some really cringy shit, like some of the worst stuff ever. Do you remember the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie? Like the worst X-Men movie that ever made?
That was their beauty, huh?
Yeah, the one where Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, but like isn't.
Well, George was involved in the first couple of seasons too as a consultant. So
Oh, he even wrote scripts.
yeah. So I mean,
George was a
obviously-
TV writer in the 70s and 80s, so he
I'm-
had actual writing chops.
I'm really hoping that George is going to finish the novels, and then we're going to get a remake of the ending, a remake of the whole show, and
Maybe.
it's really true to the story, kind of like Full Metal Alchemist.
How do you redo it though?
Full Metal Alchemist, dude.
They should just
New
make
actors with
make it
what?
animated.
Dude, animated would be so good.
That'd be super cool.
He
Like a
was
long
struggling.
form.
Mm-mm.
I mean, they're not going to do it anytime soon, but maybe 10, 20 years from now when memory
I would
all is
love
faded.
to see these last seasons remade. But they're making a prequel. But again, there's
Making
no
like
source material to draw
3.
from, so I think it's going to be shitty.
It'll be different writers, though, to be fair. Maybe
Yeah,
they'll
but
be
they
able
have
to
no
pull something
source
off.
material to draw from.
Spin-offs almost never work, though. That shit's going nowhere.
Well, I am excited to watch the last episode. I guarantee everyone's going to hate it. I can almost certainly guarantee it.